There are a huge variety of ways of formatting charts through Excel, and it can get quite overwhelming as to which chart option to choose. There are some buttons to make this easier though. So we want to create a chart based on the data in columns A and B, maybe a pie chart. We'll select the data, click the Insert tab in the ribbon, create a 3D pie chart, and so you can choose that option. When you select a chart, you get a Chart Tools ribbon with a Design tab and a Format tab. Now there are different chart styles. We can slide over these options and see the images below. There's a drop arrow to the right, and dependent on the chart type, you might have more choices. They all have different features and you can make your choice depending on your needs. This would be the starting point for formatting. When you click a chart, there's a paintbrush to the right. It also shows chart styles, but it shows them closer to the data. The choices we're seeing here are the same as the ones above, but just displayed differently. We'll look at some other options using other data. So we'll look at this data here and create a chart which shows another way of formatting. So I'll create this chart quickly using the shortcut Alt F1. It'll be a cluster column. We'll look at these chart styles, and as it's a column chart, there'll be more choices. When you make these sort of choices, you usually see a chart title. You won't use this title, you'll probably make changes to it, and you may want some text to explain what the numbers mean. This is also reflective of the data we see in columns D to H, and so another approach to formatting is to use the second button from left on the Design tab called Quick Layout. The choices will vary based on the chart type. The images are quite small, so as you slide over them, look at the actual chart and you'll see some changes. When we look at these different choices on these different selections, the legend is being placed in different locations. There's numbers and text being added here and there. Grid lines are changing. One of them, layout number 9 for example, gives us positioning for titles above and below the chart and down the left hand side. So I'll choose layout 9. I don't want chart titles to stay there, so I'd normally type over it and replace it with my own heading. But you can also pick up data from the actual worksheet. So I'll click in the formula bar, type equal, and then click cell D2 and press enter. And that's one way of putting in the title. The numbers on the left hand side aren't identified in the actual worksheet. So we want a title to explain what this means, how many number of items sold. So we'll just type it in and press enter. We see that down the left hand side. If you feel the font is too small, we can go to the Home tab and choose a bigger font size and make it bold, etc. Everything that is associated with formatting. So there's the freedom to make those adjustments. You may even want to change the background color. If you want to explore some formatting options, go to the Format tab in the ribbon where the chart is selected. The outer area of the chart is referred to as the chart area. The inner area, which usually contains a grid, is referred to as the plot area. If we want to apply color to the chart area, so on the Format tab, you see a Shape Styles group and it has a drop arrow, and we can see what's happening here with the live preview feature of Excel, which show us how these choices may appear. So we can choose this for the outer area, and if you wish, you can make the inner area a contrasting color. So that's one way of changing the appearance or changing the formatting of a chart. It's basically taking advantage of the fact that when we select a chart on the Design tab, we have a layout which allows us to set up different titles and locations quickly. There's also the chart styles and lots of variations to add in color, which you'll find in the Home Format tab.